And now, here to help you know your number and grow your number live, the Lossdog Network presents One Lucky Dog with Tom Sosnoff, Scott Sheridan, and a little bit of soul.
Ooh, are you not wearing any pants?
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Hola! Good morning and welcome to One
morning.
Lucky Dog. Our phone lines are open and ready to take your calls for the next hour at 989 Lost Dog. Hi, everyone. Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
It was so good.
I heard it. It was good. It was really good.
It's so good.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
so excited. I can't even.
It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
The
Scott can
music
talk
you
about
guys
it.
just heard, which I'm sure you, I don't know if you guys read on the Chiron, is an original slash piece for Lost Dog. The slash. Not any slash. The slash. I'm so excited.
All right, Scott, you did good. So
Thank
that's
you,
it.
slash.
I appreciate it. I really do. Yeah, it was very, very nice of him to do it. I thought he was going to pull something from the archives, but he actually went in the studio and recorded it for us, which is awesome. So big shout out to Slash. Hopefully one day we can get him on the call-in.
Oh my God, I'm a huge fan. Then
You don't want
I
him on
would,
the call.
I
You
would
want him
like
in. You want him in the studio.
have,
You know, like
I would collapse if he called.
You want him to come in the
If
studio.
he said my name.
Right?
Don't
Yes.
embarrass us. Don't embarrass us.
Stop
by
it.
Throwing yourself out.
I can embarrass myself. It's okay.
No, it's great. So now we have a, now at Tasty for 15 years we had the same song. Mm-hmm. And so now we have our own Lost Dog song that for the next 15 years we can play, it'll be fun.
Yay.
It'd be a lot of fun.
Yep.
Very,
that's good.
very, very exciting day.
Yeah. I've always been jealous of, on the Stern Show, they played the same Rob Zombie song
Right.
for like 25 years.
Right.
And he wrote that song for them like 25 years ago, and it was great. And to his credit, they kept the same song going for 25 years. So it'll be hopefully we can do the same thing.
Yay.
There you go.
So anyway.
There you go.
Anyway, don't be shy today. If Slash is watching our shows, then so should you guys. Anyway,
right.
we have a call queue, 989 Lost Dog. Give us a call. Markets are actually...
Let me have this one. I always give the bad news. I can give a little good news.
Yes, please.
Well, all I was going to say before you give like your typical,
Oh, here comes the
CNBC
generic
market rundown, generic
here's what's-
rundown.
Oh my God.
The spiel.
The spiel. I think what the interesting thing about today, NASDAQ, this is the weakest the NASDAQ has opened. It was strong yesterday. This is the weakest the NASDAQ has looked, and I don't want to jinx it, but the NASDAQ,
Don't jinx it.
which I did come in a little short, but now I've covered this morning, so it's about to crash. But the NASDAQ, this is the weakest it's looked, really the weakest it's looked. And certain stocks like Apple, that stock's down, 10, 12%. AMD down 20%. These are kind of off its highs. And then a bunch of other stocks have turned around today for the first time, like Reddit and Micron. The only stock that was up this morning was Palantir, and I came in a little short it, and I covered on the opening just to scratch it. But what do you think here, Scott? I think the NASDAQ looks really heavy. S&Ps don't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's obviously hard to not think that every sell-off is a buy because that's what it's been.
For the last 15 years.
Yeah, for the last 15 years. That's long enough. But I'm disappointed in myself because I did sell some calls on Friday in some of these NASDAQ stocks, which exploded.
You had to cover.
I sold some and I've rolled up, but I thought to myself the first couple days were going to be strong, and then I faded myself because I'm like, I don't believe that we're going to sustain this rally. So I sold a little more micro on the open. What I thought was interesting is the last couple nights, silver has rallied a lot right on the opening, and then at 5 o'clock, Central Time, and then immediately reversed the last couple nights.
Yeah.
And now, silver's down to $74.40, down $3, and it traded. Think about silver traded 2 days ago. Traded 82 apps, like you said, a double top. Hopefully.
Right.
Well,
Bitcoin,
I was buying some last night, so I was up at like 1 and 2
here
in
we
the
go.
morning, buying, doing the gold silver ratio. I think I'm the only person in the world, like that's half asleep that plays Wordle, covers the gold silver ratio, plays connections, covers the gold silver ratio, takes a piss, goes back to sleep.
Oh, God.
Welcome to my life.
that's awesome. We could have left out the bathroom break, but I appreciate it.
Right?
Well, I'm getting older,
TMI?
so I'm getting older.
I get it.
I'm preparing Sol for the days ahead, her days ahead that she's going to have to
Endure.
care of you.
endure. Yeah, I'm just preparing her.
As my dad would say later in life, anytime he saw a bathroom, he felt it was an opportunity.
That's right.
Right? You're like, I don't know, maybe I do, maybe I don't, but it's an opportunity, so let's go.
See,
Okay.
he raises. I mean, he's a smart man and very clear of the concept.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
Very smart.
But anyway, we're so happy to be here Monday through Thursday. One lucky dog, 1 hour a day. Hopefully, in years to come, it'll expand and there'll be a lot more content on the network. But right now, One Lucky Dog, 1 hour a day. It's a call-in show. We talk markets, we talk business. We have a couple of actual Unleashed, which is a different segment that we do, coming out today. One on prediction markets and what's the other one on? On wage inequity.
Yes.
Yeah. Pay transparency, wage inequity.
Pay
And so-
transparency.
yeah, pay transparency.
It's going to be an interesting one
So there's
to get the conversation going.
yeah, we have a lot of stuff. We have a lot of stuff actually that that's in the hopper that we're about to, roll out in a big way. So
We're about to unleash
unleash on you
So stay
for many
tuned.
years to come.
to our YouTube channel.
Yeah, our software is coming out very soon. Our prediction game is coming out in actually early next week, and so I think you're going to kind of, love what we're rolling out.
Yes, we hope you enjoy it and that you send us your questions. You can send them via email to oneluckydog@lossdog.com, or you can, better yet, call us with your questions at 989-LOST-DOG. And we have a bunch today
Yeah, let's start. Let's
because
jump
we're
right
getting
into
a lot of emails from you.
Right from
And
the
we
dog
appreciate
pound.
it.
Right from the
Okay.
dog pound, which is our chat, which you can see on the YouTube chat, but right from the chat.
Yeah.
Regarding zero DTE options, do you have a metric for days to trade or not trade? VIX spike over 10% overnight. VIX spike over 10% overnight, move percents, etc. I will tell you that based on the research, it's a fair question. But again, remember one thing about zero DTs, and this is volatility doesn't matter that much with zero DTs because there's no overnight risk. So your intraday volatility, it is what it is, and it doesn't. It's probably not going to change dramatically intraday. Volatility pops, and huge moves in volatility are mostly all going to be overnight moves. So your intraday moves are going to be somewhat measured, tempered. What I will say is, if you look at VIX one day, we did a bunch of research in the past. I had one of our back at Tasty, and we had a think tank, and one of our researchers, Jacob Perlman, did a bunch of research on zero DTE intraday trades. And what we found is that on the one-day VIX, VIX1D, if it's under 10, and I think yesterday it was like all the way down to 7 or something, 7 or 8. I don't have it right in front of me now. But the VIX1D, when it's under 10, it's really hard. I mean, there's just not a lot of juice. When it's over 15, it's a little easier. So if you want something, that'd be my advice.
Yeah, I completely agree with that.
Where is the, you have a screen in front of you, Scott. Where's the
VIX1D is 825.
Yeah, 825. So at 825, now listen, again, there's no overnight risk, so it's not going to change much intraday. Maybe it goes down to 7.25, maybe it goes up to 950, but that's not going to matter that much on your one-day zero DT options. But what matters is that the amount of premium on an 8 vol on the SPX one day, it's not a great risk reward.
It's not a great risk reward. And what I do is I just look at another way of doing it. Is I'm looking right now. It's a $19 move, expected move right now for SPX. So if you go out 20 points, let's say we're 69.20 23. So take it to 45. They're
Yeah,
235.
$19 expected move is not much for
Not much.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
and if you think about it, we just rallied $19. They just sold off 20 and just rallied all the way back.
Yeah, they were just up on the day too. The S&Ps. The S&Ps have looked strong all day. The NASDAQ's looked weak all day, just kicking off the day. So, hard to get more of a read this early. But yeah, you're right. 19 points is absolutely nothing.
Nothing. Yes, I wouldn't touch it today, but that's me.
Yeah, but you know what? The one thing about low volatility is I'll say about low volatility is it tends to be, you tend to take less risk. Sometimes you get blown up, but you tend to take less risk.
All right, let's move on to a letter.
Yeah,
How about
let's do
that?
it.
I am starting a new business. How will I know when to pivot versus when to persist? Should I have a contingency plan in place in my initial business plan if it's or is not doable or failing?
Yeah, I mean, if your initial business plan is not doable, or if it's failing, or if you need to pivot, first of all, every single new business we've ever started requires a pivot. Like, I don't know anything in life that doesn't require a pivot. If you could think of something today and you're doing the same thing, a year from now, or 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, that's a miracle. So it's not really a contingency plan. It's just that you have to be prepared to pivot. Everything's a pivot. Lossdog is a pivot.
Even marriages have to pivot.
Usually they pivot through divorce.
No, no. I mean, the key is to pivot together
Yeah, it's hard.
in a marriage.
Oh yeah, typically when you
But-
say that it's a pivot, that usually means it's not going well.
No, I think, well, whatever.
It's easier to pivot.
We're not here to talk about marriage.
No, it's easier to pivot in business.
Apparently, that's part of the show, and we talked about what you do
We'll
with your
talk about
partner.
anything.
Right.
It's
Right?
usually easier to pivot in business because there's less emotion.
Right.
In marriage, it's in relationships, it's hard to change people. But in business, it's easy to change.
We're looking at you, Tom.
Yeah, right.
I'm flexible. I'm changeable.
Oh,
Yep.
the
Yep.
most flexible.
Yeah. But no, in businesses, every business we've ever built is never what it starts out as. Believe it or not, Thinkorswim wasn't what it started out as. Tasty wasn't what it started out as. And Lossdog was not what it started out as. So, in fact, I'm wearing the original, which was a live bash, which turned into Lossdog.
We could send that to the Smithsonian in
Yes.
10. Wait, if that still exists, but in 10 years.
Yeah, so every single business pivots. I mean, Apple pivoted, Micron pivoted, NVIDIA pivoted. I mean, every single good business pivots.
Okay, so should you elaborate on a contingency plan?
It's not really a contingency plan, it's just a willingness to pivot. It's, like at some
But
point.
from the get-go, can you have another idea maybe put in there as a
well,
contingency plan?
It's not another idea
to
from the
have
get-go.
the initial business plan.
No, it's not another idea from the get-go. It's as you start to learn what works and what doesn't
Well,
work.
of course.
That's when you pivot and you make a move to. People learn through doing. There's no way you can have when you're initially setting up a business. It's not like if business A doesn't work, we're going to go to business B, or if idea B doesn't work, we're going to go to idea C.
I get it.
What happens
Right.
is when you start business A, you're learning through the process of building and whatever you're doing, you're figuring out what works and what doesn't work, and you're pivoting to what you ultimately want to do.
Okay, so this person says, how will I know when to pivot?
Well, if you
Well- What
don't,
do you think?
if you don't know when, you're out of
Then-
business.
Correct. If you don't know, it's like, when you're the story in Rounders, if you haven't figured out, poker game, if you haven't figured out who the sucker is, it's you. So, right. So if you
Yeah.
haven't figured that out, it's not going to work. And it's interesting
Yeah.
because I think this business, we have pivoted more than we did at Thinkorswim or at Tasty.
So as we were talking yesterday in one of the trades, before you're underwater, you have to pivot.
Yeah, before
right?
you're
Yeah.
tested. Yeah, before
Yeah.
you're tested.
You're underwater as soon as you start. For a new business, you're already underwater because you are burning capital with no revenue, and you don't know what you're doing. So those are two big challenges.
Great.
But they're, you can come through both of them, very,
And I don't
very
care
well.
how much
Right.
experience you have. I don't care how many businesses you've built. You're always building, you're always pivoting, and you're always learning from what's working and what's not working.
Right.
I would actually say that if you're not thinking about pivoting or modifying, you're probably missing something, very big, because you should always be evolving. And I think
You got to do it,
evolving,
and you got to do
right?
it fast.
Fast, and evolving
Like
is
fast.
a pivot.
Yeah, you got to do it fast. Like don't overthink this stuff. Hey, it's not working. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. That's good advice.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next. How did you guys handle or prepare for the personal, financial, and family sacrifices necessary to commit the resources required to build a startup? It's a lot of sacrifice.
Well, I'll jump in here and I will say
Yeah.
this is a really, really good question. And for me, ignorance, was bliss. That it's a lot of times not knowing what's ahead of you is better than knowing, because I think if most people knew how hard it was and what was in front of them, they wouldn't do it. So, there's other things in my life that I can point to, but this for sure, Thinkorswim for sure being the big one. And I remember having a conversation about 5 years in with my wife, and she said to me, "Are you good with this?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, "I'll tell you, give me some more time." I said, "I'm enjoying it, but I don't know if it's going to be worth it." And fortunately, it turned out to be worth it. But again, not knowing, and I don't think it's reasonable to think that you're going to go into something like this and think that there won't be some pain along the way. And it might not just be pain for you. It could be, your spouse, your children,
Well, it's
others.
definitely a
Because
family
it's
sacrifice.
a commitment. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just, I wasn't there. My kids were really little, and I wasn't there for a lot
Right.
of stuff. And
Right.
that's so.
I mean, first of all, I don't know that you ever prepare for it. Do you know what I mean? You either commit to it or you don't. And I think that in life, there's some people that think that their purpose is to, be there for the other person or be there for their family, whatever it is. And there's other people that feel like their purpose in life, their ultimate purpose is maybe to provide for or to do their own thing. And I think I fall more into that camp, which is I'm better as a provider and as a builder. And so
Then as a hugger and a comforter, I agree with that.
And a high fiver.
then a high fiver. Yeah. But
Then one who gives compliments and lifts people's spirits up. I agree with all those.
But I have been, this is the first time in 25 years when I haven't been on the road.
Yeah.
So since 2000 till 2025, I've been on the road for 25 years, basically every other week for 25 years. And so, there's a lot of family sacrifices that go with that. And there's,
But I think if the
You know.
commitment is done as a family, like
Well, it's usually not.
everyone is committed,
It's
like
usually
the
not.
husband and well, then it falls apart.
it's usually not.
But-
it's usually, or more in my
well, in
case,
Scott's case,
it's got, I don't
it
even
was
know.
done as a couple. Like
Yes.
you
You know,
agreed to
it's
take on the
hard.
sacrifice,
You
right?
can't
Scott?
agree.
Yes.
You can't
Yes.
agree to something you don't know what it is. Like he didn't know.
Okay, well then you agreed to
Then
the
I will say
uncertainty.
this: if you're saying that we didn't
Right?
agree, the 6 was a great support system.
Fine,
and
fine. So she
you know,
was a great support system, but she didn't.
Correct.
You didn't know what was ahead.
right,
The one
and
thing-
that's why I'm
But
saying
okay, but
ignorance
then
is bliss.
she
Because had I
agreed-
known,
She agreed to the uncertainty.
correct.
Yeah, she agreed to the uncertainty.
Right. Well, that's
Yeah. Correct.
coming to an agreement.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
preparing.
In my case,
mean,
it wasn't
you know-
more. It wasn't so much an agreement. It was more like this is it.
This-
This is
yeah,
this is
I
the way it
know.
is.
So
I
the
know.
other one that I would compare this to that I probably wouldn't have done, out of college I went into strict Freudian psychoanalysis 5 days a week on the couch, and it was 7+ years. I thought it was going to be like a year or two. It was 7+ years. Had I known it was 7+ years, I don't think I ever would have started something like that. So,
Well, I
but
started
completely worth it.
knowing,
Love that I did it. Probably the best thing that I've ever done for myself. But again,
I could have fixed you in like 2 weeks, but you didn't give me
you
a
could
chance.
have. You know what? I should have come to you.
I could have fixed you in 2 weeks, but
I'm gonna
you
say
had to
no.
waste hundreds of thousands of dollars.
It's true. This is true. But anyway, it's a good question. So
Yeah, but there are a ton of sacrifices, and you have to be either willing to take that risk and do it yourself, or whatever it takes.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends what it depends where your priorities are. My priorities have always been on building stuff.
Yeah.
It's not that crazy.
Building businesses,
No,
not
it's not.
relationships.
I mean, I'm in a long-term relationship, so we're trying. From the dog
You're
pound.
succeeding.
I'm succeeding, yeah. When starting a new business from the dog pound, what's a target amount of cash to keep as a safety net?
Interesting question.
Interesting question, because we don't know what
It
kind of new
depends
business
on
You
it
don't
is.
know what kind of business
Right.
it is. So my answer is, I've said this a million times, and I'll keep saying it. Whatever you think you need, try to get double. However long you think it's going to take, double it or triple it. What do you need as a reserve? You need to be able to live. So you always have to make sure that you have your basic expenses covered, because you don't want to put yourself into a situation where rent is an issue, food's an issue, et cetera, et cetera. So that to me would be, that's the safety net. You have, whatever your plan is for your business, you got to make sure, assuming you're not working somewhere else pulling in a salary, you need to do, you need to set aside proper amount of money that will allow you to cover the bare necessities.
I think that, of course, that answer's right. But the other thing I'd say is that if you have never, there's two different challenges here. One challenge is if you've never built something and gone off on your own, that's a challenge in itself. And if you have before, it's a lot easier, because you kind of understand what some of those sacrifices are, and you're better at the game of survival. But whatever it is, like Scott said, it's probably double what you think it is, or at least double what you think it is.
Yeah.
It's very hard to come up with a number like in
Again, because
advance.
you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah.
So don't beat yourself up over it. But again, whatever you think it is, go bigger.
And there's no such thing as a safety net, by the way. There's just,
Well, to me, I'm saying a safety net, meaning, again, you need to be able to survive.
Yeah.
Because if you can't survive, then you're done. I mean, you're not
Yeah.
dead, but you're done with the business. You're going to be forced to, go get a job and give up on, hopefully what the dream is.
Yeah. All right, next up. I'm having difficulty raising capital. I'm sure I'm not alone, but I find asking for money to be very difficult and time consuming. I am trying to raise $500,000, but so far I only have commitments for approximately $200,000. I'm not sure how to proceed. I'm an engineer, and self-promotion is not a strength.
It's a real problem. It's a real problem.
You know what? Difficulty raising capital is not. It's not unique to you or anybody else. It's an art. Lucky for us, we have always been good at it. Don't ask me why. I'm not sure. But we've always been good from the mid 80s, from the early 80s till 2025. Raising capital has always been probably one of our strengths. Now, I will say, I'll give you one of the keys to raising capital. It is, you have to ask for it. Like, you literally have to ask. A lot of people think that if you present something to somebody, they're going to say, oh, this is great, how much money do you need? That's not how it works. Raising capital is an ask. You've got to ask for it. You just say, listen, I'm raising capital, I need this much money, blah, blah, blah. And it's a whole, obviously you have to present a story, and you have to present yourself, but the most challenging part of raising capital for most people is you have to be willing to ask. And in the process of being willing to ask, you also have to be willing to take risk with somebody else's capital, which a lot of people are not comfortable with.
Right.
I've seen the worst case, which ends absolutely horribly, something bad happens, or I've seen just bad cases of just people that it's totally ruined their lives, raising capital and then losing money, and raising capital, losing money, and then just it's destroyed their lives because they felt like they've let people down, or this or that. We've been lucky enough to have a very different approach to life, which is, listen, we're going to do our best. And so far, we've paid back people hundreds of millions of dollars, literally hundreds of millions of dollars in we've made, I can't even tell you how much money we've made for investors, but we've also taken a lot of risk. And at the time when we took the risk, we're like, you might not get anything back.
Right.
You have to assume that. I would
And
add
we're
to-
fine giving them, we're fine losing all the money.
Right.
But it's not, we've never actually lost all the money, but we'd be okay if we did.
I mean, it would be disappointing, but yes.
No, I don't ever want to, but you have to be okay with it.
Of course.
One of the challenges of raising capital is you have to understand that it's just like you have to treat it like you would treat your own capital, which is, you're willing to lose it.
Right.
I actually think it's much harder to lose somebody else's money than it is to lose mine. Yeah, I think,
No
losing
question
mine-
about,
Right.
there's no
Right.
question about that. No question.
That's harder. Now, I will say, and you're going to say, of course, this is obvious, but just remember this. Asking somebody, which is really difficult, asking somebody for money doesn't guarantee they're going to give it to you. But chances are, if you don't ask, it's never going to happen. So to this person's question that they're not good at it, either you need to learn to get comfortable being uncomfortable, or this is the perfect role. If you're interested in a partner or thinking about a partner, this would be one that I would say, look for somebody that has a skill set, not like you as an engineer, I don't even know what the project is, but look for somebody who might be more forward facing, who's more than comfortable going out and having these conversations. Because
Yeah,
the
that's
level
a
of
good one.
uncomfortability will come through in the discussion.
I can tell you,
That's not going to be good.
I can
Right.
tell you that I have made investments in companies where they have been all over me to get money, and I have passed on other companies that have not followed up with me and not been aggressive. And I probably would have invested in them if they had followed up and been aggressive with me. So I know firsthand how important it is to have somebody that knows how to ask for it.
Yeah.
And again, I think one of the keys of our success over the last, 3-4 decades has been that we were never afraid to ask for money because we were very confident in what we were proposing. We were very confident that we could get it done. Maybe we were cocky, maybe we were overconfident, but it actually all worked out. But, and we've had plenty of times when, I remember when we built Tasty, there was a firm that had invested us in the past, and they looked at Tasty and they said, "Are you guys out of your mind? We would never invest in Tasty." And they were like, they laughed at us. And then 4 years later, they came back and invested. When we started to build Lossdog, some of the similar firms came to us and said, we said, "Hey, would you like to invest?" They're like, because we've been successful in the past, they're like, no thanks, we're not interested in this model. I'm like, okay, you will be
At a higher number.
at a much higher number.
Right.
A story that TD Ameritrade, when we built Thinkorswim, TD Ameritrade came to us when we first started, and the first firm that looked at us actually was Merrill Lynch, and they flew us out to New York and they said, "We're really interested in buying your technology." And we're like, "Okay, what do you want to pay?" And they give us some stupid lowball number, and we're like, "No thanks." And they go, "You're going to regret not taking this." And I'm like, "Okay." And then a year later, TD Ameritrade came to us and they said the same thing. We're interested in buying your company. And so we said, "Okay, what's your number?" And they gave us a number that was like half of what we thought we were worth.
Yeah.
And we said, "No thanks." And they go, "Okay, you're never going to get a higher bid." That's what they said. And then 8 years later, they came back and paid, almost $1 billion. So you just don't, the world is, good things are expensive, but you have to ask. Like,
Yeah.
one of the keys to being a successful entrepreneur is your willingness to ask. You have to ask for the deal, you have to ask for money, you have to ask for a contract, you have to ask for partnerships. You have to be willing to ask. And I think we're good at asking.
And confidence
So you have
has
to
to
get-
just shine through in the ask.
Yeah.
If you go into it and you're not confident, they're going to smell that, and it's going to be a hard no-go. So again, nothing wrong with saying it's not your skill set.
Yeah,
But
nothing wrong.
Nothing wrong with it, and it might never be your skill set. But that, to me, would be an indication that you probably need to look to somebody, whether they're a partner or something else. I mean, you could pay a firm to do it, but I would hate to do that.
Or you
I'd
just
have a
gotta,
partner.
Right.
or you
right.
just gotta take some smelling salt and
just go do it.
Get a Reaper sandwich and just, you
Yeah,
know.
and you might
Do
find
it.
that you're better at it than you thought you were.
Yeah.
You know, so just keep pushing forward, but critical.
It never hurts to ask.
That's
Never
right.
understand.
Always
Yeah.
ask.
Sol, do you want to go out to dinner with me?
Sure.
No, you're supposed to say no.
You're supposed to say no.
You're supposed to say no.
Come on.
John.
That was
Why?
the
I don't
setup.
get
And
it.
then,
John from Charlotte.
then he'd say, see,
Because I'm showing you have to ask.
Right.
Oh, no, I'm not asking
John-
you.
John from Charlotte.
I could ask Slash.
Right.
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, John, what's up, man?
Hey, so I was curious on your opinions of if you get an offer letter from another company that you don't work for,
Yep.
and then you take that offer letter and present it to your current employer to match it. Is that something that you guys would get upset about if you bring an offer letter from another company?
Ooh, that is a fun question, because in all the years, and we've hired, thousands of people between all the companies we've built. I don't know that anyone's ever brought me an offer letter. They've definitely told me, people have told me that they have other offers. I don't think anybody's ever actually brought me like a real letter, an offer letter. It really depends how you approached it. I'm not speaking for Scott. I'll tell you here's how I would take it. If I liked you and I thought you were valuable, and I thought you were coming to me with, you really wanted to stay, I would definitely consider that to be, a real offer, and I would do whatever it took to keep you. So that would be my approach. If I liked you and I valued you at the company, I would do whatever it kept to keep you, and that offer letter would not hurt you in my eyes. Scott?
Totally different answer here.
Okay.
So I never had that happen. First of all, I'd
Yeah.
like to say that I feel like we paid people, paid them appropriately, not the top of the industry, but, very well. And my feeling is I've had people come to me and say they've been offered more money, and every single time I've said congratulations and you should go take that job because we can't get you to that number. I have never fought to keep somebody. My feeling is now you said they came to you. That's different than going out.
No, he's asking if he should go to them.
No, but didn't you say that somebody came to you, like was a headhunter? You weren't looking. Or John, were you looking for a job?
Right, someone like a recruiter in our industry.
Right, now that would
Yeah.
be different. That would be very different to me. If somebody said a recruiter reached out to me, and I've never had that happen. What I've had people say is that they've been looking and they have been offered this job. And to me, well, if you've been looking, you don't want to be here. Because if you were happy here and you thought you were underpaid, you should have just come over and we would have a conversation and hopefully landed a good spot. But if somebody's already started looking somewhere else, to me, they've checked out. So that's different than somebody receiving, like you're saying, just an unsolicited offer, which you could say, look, unsolicited, I received that, and that's very different. And to that, I might say, okay, let's sit down and work through it and figure it out.
You know what, John? Scott's much harder on this topic. He's always been than me. Scott is he does not like that. But I am much more understanding, and I have an appreciation for, it's a free market, and if I like you, I'm going to do everything I can to keep you. Scott would tell you, don't let the door hit you on the way out.
Right, and so this is the situation that I've been in, and so I went to my employer and I was like, hey, I want to stay here. That was because I knew that some people may take it like Scott was saying that he would take it, and I was like, look, I want to stay here. I'm happy here, but I realized that the bid-ask spread, I didn't say this, but to you guys, I figured you would appreciate that. We want the market to be a little bit tighter on the spreads.
I listen. That's what Lossdog is all about. Actually, the technology we built is to give you those bullets. So yeah, I'm totally in favor of you saying, "Hey, you know what? I want to stay here. I'm just I'm undervalued here.
Yes, and John, again, very, very different story to say that it was an unsolicited offer that a headhunter came to you. So I think I'm more than fine. Now, there's a qualifier here. You have to be willing to leave and take that job.
Right.
Because if you go do this, let's just say you're making $1, and this company says they'll pay you $1.20, and you go and say, look, they're offering me $1.20. What can you do? If they say nothing, then to me, you've got to go. Because now if you stay in this role at $1, you've given up all your negotiation power, going forward. Because they're going to go, well, you're not going to leave, so why do we need to talk to you?
Tom doesn't agree.
I don't necessarily agree.
Okay.
But
Why?
it's a
Why
great,
not?
listen, John, it's a fun question.
It is a fun question.
Yeah. I hope that helped.
Yeah, for sure. And
The technology will
yeah,
help you without having to get a letter from anyone.
Go ahead.
right, and that's what I'm kind of hoping, because in our industry, I'm in the utility business, and my current job is to locate underground utilities.
Yep.
And one of the problems with Glassdoor and some of these other places is that the prices that they know of is much lower than what we're already getting paid. So, like, some of the data that has been available, I guess, until you guys, has been, understating what we actually make currently.
Yep, I'm sure. Well,
Right.
let's see. I'm curious. Here, call us back once we launch our software. Call us back and let us know how accurate we are with respect to what we have you valued at.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, man. Take care.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, John.
Yeah, we're going to jump to Matt in North Carolina. Hey, Matt, what's up?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
Tom, I don't know if you remember me or not, but I was a rising star on your show in 23.
Okay, sure.
I brought my kindergartner with me to the studio, Jack.
Oh, yeah. Got it.
Okay, so I've been emailing you back and forth a little bit about this, but I help retiring special operations military folks getting into civilian careers.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, when you first, actually last year when you first launched your second week, you were talking about networking. And I tried to call in with a little bit of experience that I've had, and I had to call in again because the phone lines were down. But
Okay, no problem. Yeah.
anyway, I wanted to just share this, and hopefully it helps somebody that's listening. One thing that we encourage people going through the program to do, the program's called the Honor Foundation, is to really focus on having conversations with people in career fields that they want to explore. We call it cups of coffee. So we encourage them to have at least 50 cups of coffee before making a huge leap in anything they do in life. So, well, mainly with the job transition. So we found out that doing that bypasses what employers use is called an ATS. So when you put your resume into the system, into an ATS, the likelihood of your resume getting seen by a hiring manager is very small. So we like to get our folks' resumes into the hands of hiring managers directly through these cups of coffee. And that's just something I wanted to share. Hopefully somebody hears that and takes some action on it.
That's very cool. And,
That's very cool.
And I'm glad you shared that. I mean, I've heard of other programs, not specifically like the cup of coffee that you're talking about, but I've heard of a lot of other networking programs, especially with veterans, especially with, we've heard about it with disabled people, with veterans, just a lot of other groups, and or people jumping back into the workforce. So I think, listen, what you guys are doing, or what everybody's doing in that regard, which is building kind of a networking culture and structure around networking. I mean, I love it. It's kind of what we want to support here, any way we can.
That's right.
With technology and with technology, with AI, however we can support it. Because I agree with you. Throwing your resume into a pool is just, you're throwing it's a needle in a haystack, hoping.
Does nothing.
Yeah.
Nowadays.
Yeah. So I couldn't agree with you more. How's your trading going, Matt?
I'm praying for a miracle right now. I really am. It's been really hard. I've been run over by this market. It's
Got it.
It's really tough. I've got people asking me to manage money for them, and I can't. I feel guilty because I just can't figure out what I'm doing wrong.
Got it.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you'll get your confidence back, and you'll turn it around. I'm sure. Yeah.
Okay.
You got
Thank
good
you.
skills. Yeah. All right, man. Take care, and keep us posted on how this project goes.
Thanks, Matt.
Yeah, I'm going to be real quick. I'm going to be like watching your show frequently and learning the software and kind of being an ambassador through the Honor Foundation. We're going to run a pilot program with the Marine Special Operations Command community. So hopefully I will let you know what their feedback is on Lossdog.
Love it.
Amazing.
Love it. Please let us know. Yep. Thank you.
Love that.
All right.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks,
Remember,
Matt.
989, Lost Dog. Let's go to the next one. With the VIX currently trading under 15, no more. Is it?
It's pretty close.
That's close.
Yeah, it's 1534.
How much of my trading capital should I allocate to short premium positions? I'm presently wrapped around the 40% plus level. Do you think that I'm being too aggressive?
So, again, the VIX is a really good measure of how much capital you should allocate to trading. And when the VIX is high, you want to allocate a lot. And when the VIX is low, you want to allocate less. And the reason for that is that opportunity has a very high correlation, is highly correlated to volatility. The higher the volatility, the higher the opportunity. When the VIX is low, there's less opportunity. There's less risk, but less opportunity. You're currently allocated around 40%. Based on our research over the years, when the VIX is under 15, it depends on account size. So if your account is, let's say, under $50,000, then that 40% level is fine. If your account is a few $100,000 to a few million, then that 40% level is too high. Like right now, for example, I am, because the VIX is low and because volatility is low, my allocation is very low. I'm in the mid-20s right now. So again, slightly larger account, but allocations for me is mid to low 20s. I prefer to be, mid to high 40s. And sometimes you get as high as 60 when volatility is really high. So, I think the fact that you understand this and you can articulate it is really strong. I don't think you're being too aggressive, but you're kind of at the top end of the range.
And I think this ties back nicely to when we were talking about the VIX, originally talking about SPX and talking about 0 DTE, saying, I'm not interested in participating in selling premium at, an $18 expected move. To me, it just doesn't feel like good risk reward. So.
Yeah, I mean, but again, in your overall position, you want to allocate as much capital as you can when the opportunity is the greatest. It's just common sense. And opportunity is greatest when there's the most fear and the most chaos, and that's when the VIX is highest. When the VIX is at its lowest, which is like it is now. I mean, not its lowest, but it's at the low end of its range. You have the least amount of risk and the least amount of opportunity. When I say least amount of risk, I mean least amount of risk on kind of a day-to-day basis, but you do have the risk of volatility expansion anytime.
Got it. Let's go to another, before we go to another call.
We can go to another email and then we'll grab lines.
Yeah.
We have 3 lines. We have 3 lines open. We have a couple people on hold. We'll get you guys in 1 second. 989 Lost Dog. I'm Tom Sosnoff. He's Scott Sheridan. She's Sol. And join us every day except for Fridays from 9 to 10 Central Time. And tell your friends.
Tell your friends and family. In the current era of remote everything, how important a value does one place on an in-person meeting? Is it significantly better than a Zoom or remote presentation? I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to say 1,000% yes. I mean, listen, there's the time and a place for Zoom. There was before remote work, but there is no substitute for being in person. Nothing.
Anytime, you got to remember something about, we talked about asking for money before, and we talked about kind of asking for the sale, asking, just being okay with asking for something. One of the things about meeting people in business. And one of the things that's made kind of the whole work from home thing so difficult is that it's very impersonal and it's very easy to say no. When you control the environment, meaning, it's really important for us to have meetings in our space.
Yep.
We love, Scott and I can go back to the 80s. We've always liked to meet in our space. Whatever it takes, we will fly people from halfway around the world if we have to meet in our space. We want to control the environment. We want you to see where we work. We want you to see what we have. We want you to see our surroundings. Once you're in our ecosystem, in our environment, we will close you.
It's a home court advantage.
It's a huge home court advantage.
Yeah,
There is no doubt I place an enormous value on in-person meeting. We will do everything we can to meet in person. If it's something that we really don't want to do and we're just being nice, then we will make sure it's a virtual meeting so we can get away from it. But every single thing that's important to us is going to be done in person.
Yeah, and the
Has to be.
comment that we always receive when people come in our office, just amazing energy. And when you get people to come in, all of a sudden they feel it and they are living it and they're like, okay, how do we get involved with this? Versus you can't get any of that on a Zoom. or a
Every
Teams or a
single big deal we've ever made is in person. And we make a lot of deals. Every deal's in person. Everything. Nothing we've ever done has been remote. Like that matters. That's
Right.
life-changing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is a great question. The value of an in-person meeting, depending on the circumstances, but it's everything. You need to own that. You need to own that space. Paul in Pittsburgh. Paul, what's going on?
Hey, yesterday you guys were talking about hourly options, and Kalshi's had that for like a year. They have it in SPX, NASDAQ, Bitcoin, Ethereum.
Yeah, they've had it, but those are pure. Those are $1. They're like $1.
Yeah,
Right, we were talking
similar
more
to
about
NASDAQ, but like,
listed.
There's
Yeah,
not
listed
enough
stuff.
liquidity. There's not enough liquidity. I mean,
No, their markets. Their markets stink, and their fees are too high. So it's not an exchange based. We need it to be exchange based because the problem with Kalshi and the firms that use Kalshi, like Robinhood or whatever it is, and the problem with those markets are that there's a 1% fee, and in some cases there's up to a 2% fee. Which, when you compare that to like a 1 or 2 penny fee, in the listed markets, it's like night and day. You can't, if you're paying 1 to 2% in fees,
You can't be profitable.
You can't be profitable.
It's the same
Yeah,
thing with
just like the
gambling, where
sportsbook,
you're giving up
there's like the
10%.
juice.
It's
Yeah.
there's a fee to deposit, a fee to withdraw. Like,
Yeah.
it's impossible to beat the juice. Like,
It's
the
impossible to beat
sportsbook.
the juice. I couldn't agree more. Like, you can trade $100,000 of Apple on any online trading platform, and the fees are zero. So $100,000 of Apple, you give up about $2. If you trade $100,000 of SPX binary on Kalshi, you're giving up $2,000. So the difference between
Yeah.
$2 and $2,000 makes it impossible to make money, like Scott just said. So that is the reason that those markets are not sustainable. We need it to
Did
be
you guys
exchange
hear
based.
about is there any updates on when the pattern day trading rule is going to go away? Or?
So that's Paul, really good question. I actually, about 2 weeks ago, Tom and I had dinner with some of our former coworkers, and the person at Tasty that I was working directly with on this, I asked him, I said, where is it? Because I thought it was going to happen by the end of the year. And he said, I wasn't thinking about this. Unfortunately, the government shutdown, of course, put everything on hold. So what he was telling me is it's absolutely still coming. Nothing changed other than it got delayed. So wherever you're trading, you could reach out to their support team and just ask them if they have an update. I will try to get an update. If you want to send me an email, scott@lossdog.com, I will try to get an update for you, and I'll let you know.
I'm surprised.
Okay, cool.
I'm
And
really
are they gonna
surprised.
give the brokers time to implement it, or?
There's nothing to implement.
For some firms there will be. Tasty will do it overnight. So if you happen to be trading at Tasty, it will be done overnight. I think some of the legacy firms will probably take a while, because their systems are just so old. But there shouldn't be anything. All you need to do, even if your systems can't adjust, all you need to do is suppress the call. You just don't issue the call. That's the way around it. But I don't know if they'll be smart enough to figure it out. Tasty will be good to go.
You know what? All the major firms, Tasty, Robinhood, Interactive Brokers, every single one of those firms, TD, they'll be done overnight. It won't even require.
Yeah, is the rules going to be similar to how futures are with the margin? Is that how it's going to work?
No, the rules.
No. It has nothing to do with margin. They're not changing the margin requirements. All that's happening is if you're under $25,000, you won't.
They're just not issuing a call.
You won't be limited to 3 day trades in a rolling 5 business day period.
Yeah.
I think, don't hold me to this one, but I think you do need $2,000. I don't think if you're under $2,000, because $2,000 is the minimum FINRA requirement if you want to buy stock on margin, and they just kind of picked that number, and none of us were going to argue. We're like, fine, if you want to go to $2,000, we're not going to argue. So if you have $500 in your account,
I was thinking more margin on options. I didn't know, waiting for stuff to settle. How that affects.
There is no such thing as margin on options. Margins do not have option. Options do not have margin like futures do.
Yeah.
So, but I would think it's coming very soon. Again, I thought it was going to be implemented by the end of the year, but the government shut down. Now we're facing another potential government shutdown in the end of this month, right? So I don't know. It's coming. We'll leave it at that. So,
can we just say that the government's already shut down and there is no government anymore?
Well, I'm not sure. It's a fair question. I don't know.
It's a joke because they really have the money. It's not like they really don't. They don't have money.
Of course.
It's a joke.
It's not about. It is a joke. It's definitely not about the money.
Do you think they're ever going to do tokenized clearing?
100%. No, yes. I wouldn't call it tokenized clearing, but I mean ledger clearing, blockchain clearing for sure. Everything's going to be everything's going to be digitized, and everything essentially be tokenized.
T plus 2, how is that still a thing?
Right? How is it still a thing? I agree with you.
It's T plus 1, but it should be instantaneous. Yes.
Yeah, should be instantaneous.
Everything should be instantaneous.
Yeah, thank you, Morgan Stanley.
Right. Well, listen, there was a lot of money for them to be had.
Right.
T plus 5, think about the float that they would have because they had it and they were just sitting on it. It's like checks. They would wait, you deposit a check, and they would keep your money for a week or two to make sure it cleared. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, I'm probably dating myself, the younger people.
Well, all the legacy firms, I mean, this is the issue we have with Fidelity and JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley. And it's just, that's the issue. Is the legacy back offices.
Well, how does that thing work with Robinhood where they're something about how they're doing trading in Europe where you buy stocks like Apple or whatever?
They haven't launched it. They haven't launched it yet. That's one of the things they want to launch, and it's one of the things we've been talking about for years. But you're talking about tokenized stock trading. It doesn't really exist yet. It will, but it doesn't exist yet.
So when they launch it, does that mean if you buy Apple, it'll actually be on your phone, on a wallet on your phone?
I don't know if it'll require a wallet on your phone. I think it's all going to be done. There's already many tokenized, there's tokenized security offerings that already exist. The problem is there's no real exchanges. There's only a couple of really illiquid exchanges to trade them on. So I don't know what I don't know how you move this stuff around. There's no peer-to-peer markets yet. So the problem is, how do you get out?
Yeah.
I mean, remember on Tasty, when we first did our first token, we offered cash gold we offered tokenized cash gold. And because we were testing out the markets through Paxos, and it worked fine on the platform, but we held it in an omnibus wallet, and we also nobody traded it, but we offered it for a while. Anyway,
that's
Paul, we got to
cool.
jump. We got to jump, man. We got to wrap up here.
See ya. Have
All
a
right.
good day.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, Paul. All right.
Those are good. Those were good questions. Good pace today.
Yeah.
Lots of
It
stuff
was.
going on.
It was. So market not doing a lot. Bitcoin down a little bit, down 580. Oil, still up 84 cents. SPU's down 11. They've been moving all over. While we were doing the show, they went from down 20 to up 6 or 7. They're back down 11. Gold's down 4. NASDAQ, as you said earlier, heavy, down 220. Silver down 236. It's actually rallied about $1.
I liked it
now.
better when it was down $4.
Me too. Bonds, shockingly, stuck in the middle of the 115 range at 115.14. Apple down 4. AMD down almost 5. Amazon has a bid up 3. Micron down 17. Happy to see that. Nvidia is also down, 370. So, and as you said, Reddit down 6. I wanted to trade Reddit, get a little short it, but it's too hard of a stock to trade.
It is. I'm a little tiny bit short Reddit, but not much, and it hasn't been good to me. VIX futures are surprisingly down today. That's a little bit weird. NASDAQ's
Cash
been
up 5. Yeah, VIX futures down 20.
Yeah, the NASDAQ's been super weak today. The S&Ps have been much stronger than the NASDAQ. But like I said, what we're talking, they were up a couple. Now they're down 10. And there are certain stocks that are, I don't want to say they're cheap yet, but they're getting cheaper, like AMD and Apple. But then there's still so many stocks that are in the stratosphere. Very mixed, weird, and getting close to, next week is, hold it, what day is today? Yeah, next week is January expiration. And one thing I'll say about January expiration that scares me is that A, there's a lot of liquidity, and B, it tends to be very bullish. So that's why I'm not getting giant short here, because I'm waiting till after January expiration, hopefully, and then they'll maybe pull the plug a little bit. I kind of starting to like crude oil here, Scott. Not enough to buy it.
I don't think there's a lot of risk.
I don't think there's a lot of, right.
Or $57 if you want to talk about pot odds. I mean, I don't think.
But there's no vol in there, just so you know.
Correct.
There's, the problem in bonds is I'm bullish in bonds, but there's no vol in bonds. I think the Ivy rank,
you're not
the Ivy
getting
rank's
paid
like
to-
6. Yeah. And in crude oil, the Ivy rank's like 20. There's no, you would think with all the crap going on, all the Venezuelan stuff going on, that there'd be something. And there's no volatility in there. So those two commodities, although they're interesting to me, there's no volatility. I did buy a little yen this morning. I'll throw that out there for the record.
Oh, nice. I haven't traded currencies in a while. So I want to throw out a little.
Don't trade
teaser.
them because every time you trade everything that I'm in, you ruin everything for me.
I'll stay away then, but thank you. So we're dropping a new Unleash today at 10:15, and then I want to give a little teaser because we're dropping another one tomorrow at 9 a.m. This is Central Time. This is our predictions for 2026, where we're going to give away $5,000. And I do want to say, one of the predictions that you will see, we all, Sol, Tom, and I give our predictions. It's which is the most valuable company at the end of 2026. I want to say right now, I'm not telling you what I picked or what Tom picked, but I am slightly ahead. I'm ahead a little bit. So
What does that mean? Who cares? It's January.
just said I'm ahead a little bit. Just
still
give a
have
little
11
teaser. They're
months.
gonna have to see what the picks are. And neither of us, I will say, well, neither Tom or I don't remember Sol, but neither of us went with the chalk.
Sol went with the chalk.
I went with the
she
chalk.
went with the chalk.
Yeah.
Okay, the
Yeah.
chalk, if you haven't figured that out, is NVIDIA. Tom and I, neither of us picked NVIDIA, so you can watch the Unleashed tomorrow, and you'll see what.
I actually don't even remember. I don't even remember what you picked.
I picked the
remember.
winner. Yeah, I picked the winner.
Okay, you haven't picked a winner ever. So the idea that you picked a winner, I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, happy
but-
Thursday.
Happy
By the way, just
Thursday.
last one. Who are you going with tonight? Ole Miss or Miami?
Oh, that's tonight? I thought it was
Yeah.
tomorrow. Oh, the Indiana game's tomorrow.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I have something to do.
There you go.
Very
See, I
important.
just made your day.
Oh, you did just make my day. Ole Miss or
Ole Miss
Miami?
or Miami.
So I watched both of those other games. I mean, I
Yeah.
watched the Miami game against Ohio State, and I watched the Ole Miss game against Georgia. And I got to tell you, they were both really exciting games. Ole Miss, I love that kid who plays quarterback for them.
He's unbelievable.
He's great. He's a college quarterback.
He's
I don't
a
think
college.
I don't
Yeah.
think he's going to make it in the pros.
Totally agree.
He's
What's
got
his name?
Chambliss.
Yeah.
And he's got the heart. He's cocky. He's great. Miami had probably the best defense I've seen of any college team other than Indiana.
Yeah, their defense is nasty. So which do you take? Do you take an amazing defense or an amazing offense?
I'm going to go, even though, like, the team of destiny, I would love to see Ole Miss kind of shove it to Lane Kiffin. Like, I would like to see them say F you to Lane Kiffin by winning. For having left, and then them winning and going. And I think every single person that's ever been an Ole Miss fan, that's all they want to do is just basically say F you to Lane Kiffin. And I 100% on board with them. Yeah. But I've always been a Miami fan. I like Miami. And I think it's going to be Miami and Indiana in the final, which is going to be an unbelievable game because those are the two most physical teams.
And the game is in Miami.
I don't care. Those are the two most physical teams.
Yeah, I'm with you. That's where I'm going. So
I'm going Miami. I don't know what the line is tonight.
3. Miami's favored by 3.
I like Miami, and since we're not going to be on air tomorrow, I just want to go and help you guys all. I'm all in on Indiana.
Let's see, Miami. I'm taking Miami at 3, and Indiana, the line is 3.5. Indiana's favored by 3.5. I agree with both of those.
Love Miami, love Indiana.
I agree.
But I have to say before we leave, go Bears.
Oh, yeah.
Go Bears.
And that's the way. You have Thursday night, Tom. You got Thursday night covered.
Yeah.
You got Friday night covered. You got Saturday night covered.
And I just want to say for the record, the Packers suck. Go Bears.
Go
Bear
Bears.
down. I don't care. Hate the Packers.
There you go.
Happy Thursday.
And that's
another
a wrap.
great week. Another great week. Remember, as a parting message, join the Lost Dog wait list to be in the contest. So go to lostdog.com. That's how you will be able to enter. But you can watch The Unleashed tomorrow. Happy Thursday.
Happy Thursday.
Bear down.
Bear down. And slash.